Hey, friends. You don't go to the house of God. You are the house of God. That's going to be our devotional encouragement. No rant. Um, Based off of the verses that we've been talking about in John chapter 2, 13 to 25. I'm going to take this one a little bit out of context, based out of the passage here, but I'll tell you where it does fit. But just this idea that we are the house of God. We don't go to it. That's what happened in the Old Testament, but we'll get to that. Here's the verse here in John 3, verse 16, verse 17. His disciples remembered what was written, zeal for your house will consume me. And this is referring to the story that we've been in. You should read it, where he cleared the temple because of some evil that was happening. He ran the animals out. He flipped the money changers' tables. He told the people, get your birds out of here. Stop making my father's house a market. But a lot of churches, they call their building the house of God. And it's not really accurate. In my not so humble opinion, right? I'll be honest, it really drives me nuts because it sends the subtle message that that's where we go to act like Jesus. That's where we go to do our godly stuff, not every day. And I get why it happens because in the Old Testament, the temple is where God dwelled. The problem is that God doesn't dwell in the temple anymore. He dwells inside of you and he dwells inside of me. We're the house of God. And on an individual level, it's why we have to take our character. And it's why we have to take our walking with Jesus so seriously. Because it's not necessarily about what happens on Sundays. It's about what happens every day. You know, I'm not saying that the building isn't important. Actually, I take that back. That's exactly what I'm saying. I get some well-meaning followers of Jesus. They've got some sentimental feelings towards their building. And it's fantastic to have a place to gather. But at the end of the day, it's just a building. It's what happens inside of here is what matters. I sat in a church business meeting one time, and I sat there and I listened to them like argue and demean each other about how the building was going to look and the paint and the way that we were going to do the pews. And I just thought, we have this exactly backwards. The building isn't what's important, but how we treat each other and how we learn to love and show compassion and generosity. That's what matters. And so I want you to have a crazy, consuming zeal for the house of God. Oh, by the way, the scripture reference for that's in in 1 Corinthians chapter 3. Paul tells us, don't you know that you are the house of God, that you are the temple of God? And I want you to, like Jesus, have a crazy, consuming zeal for the house of God. But I want that to be about you and what you're letting Jesus do in your heart and grow your character and grow you to become more in the image of God. I want you to have a crazy zeal for God, a zeal for the house of God. Just direct it in the right direction. All right. Be blessed. Have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.